Good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast Club. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Victor.
Morning, Joe. How you doing?
You're doing great. Everything's cool. Victor, good morning. How's your morning going? Okay, Victor.
My morning's been a rush.
Okay. All right. Sounds like the typical American morning.
Yeah, with
Rush,
6 inches of
rush.
snow, absolutely.
That's it. All right. I have a little bit of that fan going on.
Yeah, I'm going to mute my mic right now.
Yep. Okay, so good morning, everyone. If you want to say good morning or whatever, right in the chat. We have it open on public right now, so I see people saying good morning and welcome, and hope you had a great weekend. We had a really good weekend and a little bit of things to share with you. But let me just give you and tell you the talking points for today, because this is something we need to be discussing often, and it's really about connecting, and that's what it's about in this business. And I've done a studying over the weekend. I was fortunate enough to spend some time with a few people this weekend, and I learned a few things, and learned that that we're on target with what we do, Mark, and it's important that people understand where they're coming from in this business and where they're going. It's that gap in between that's a problem. So a talking point, again, is about connecting. And if we look out there, we're finding that that's not what's being taught. It's not about connecting. It's about purchasing and buying and getting your volume. And of course, that's the bottom line, is that volume in any business or transactions is what makes it all happen. But how you make those transactions occur are extremely important. And when I hear people teaching, you can't come to my room because you don't buy gold on a regular basis, or you don't buy enough of it, it makes me angry. It makes me understand that they don't understand that what people need are that personal people touch, that connection with people. And I don't see a lot of that going on. I see the voice saying transaction, and yes, it is important, but that's not going to happen without understanding the foundational principles of this business, and that is that you have to learn to connect and teach the people, or put them in a system where connection is being taught. And I made a few phone calls over the weekend to prove a point to some people who are connected in the industry, and made a few phone calls about joining their company. And unbelievably, the responses I got on the other end to so-called veterans of the industry was mind-boggling to me. That they are still teaching the same thing, that they are still talking the same language, and they're still fumbling over questions when they arise. And it's so important that we learn how to connect in this business. It is the most important thing that we can do. And I do not mean that we follow these people who say, you have to develop the relationship. That's not the same as connecting. And they're teaching that on the very first phone call, when they call a stranger who may have answered one of the ads, or answered a capture page, or when they made a phone call. They're teaching to try to be so wonderful and so nice and connect when the person on the other end knows that it's phony. And that is not connecting. That's really tricking people into, follow me because I'm nice and look how wonderful life will be. That is not how this business works, and I am tired of people doing that and saying that, and it's going on throughout all the companies. And so I made some phone calls this weekend to prove a point to myself, and the truth is it's still going on. It's still being taught. And so if you have uplines teaching you this stuff and they don't know how to connect with people, I suggest that you get to a format where they learn how to connect, because you're not going to go anywhere until your people learn how to connect. It's been that way for many, many years, and the reason that people don't go anywhere is because they're not attached to a group or to a group of people who are learning how to connect or teaching people how to connect. So that's the memo for today. So Mark, I don't know if you want to say a few words, and I want to get into the Patch Adams thing here that people were probably curious about. What does that mean, Patch Adams? But
Yeah, I'll just say good morning, everyone, and let's keep it moving.
good. All right. Well, you know, I stopped and saw my friend Wally over the weekend as well. Another little trip I made, and spent some time with Wally and Carolyn, and I happened to be there when a movie was playing or it was just starting, called Patch Adams, and most of you have probably seen that movie. And I was jotting down notes as the movie was going on, and Carolyn says, "He's taking notes on this movie. He's going to say something next week. I know it." And she's right. I said, "You're right, I am." And because there were so many things that happened in that movie that we talk about, and the first thing I wrote down, now if you don't know who Patch Adams is, he was an intern, a medical student who wanted to change things because he did not like how the medical industry were treating, or the industry was treating and is treating, I guess, their patients. They were treating them with medicine and diagnosis instead of the personal touch. And Patch Adams, so if you haven't seen the movie, I mean, I suggest you go get that movie and watch it again. It was a wonderful, wonderful movie about connecting, and it stars Robin Williams. And this is the first thing I noticed he said. He was extremely upset at what he was seeing and what he wanted to do. And this is what he said: "I want to help. I really want to help. I don't care about the doctor, the lab coat. I don't care about the doctor in front of my name. I don't care about that. I need to connect with people." And you see him through the movie connecting, going down and understanding the level of the patient and where they were. And he started off in a children's ward where all these kids were sick with cancers and diseases that these kids were getting therapy, meaning chemo and radiation, and he went in and helped them have a better quality of life by making them laugh and getting them involved in the daily routine. And it was exciting, you know, to see. And Wally looked at me while we were talking and said, "Does that sound familiar?" I was writing things down. I said, "Wow, did you hear that?" He goes, "Yeah, does that sound familiar?" I said, "Yeah, it does sound familiar. We're on the same kind of journey." And he said to a girl that it ended up being his girlfriend, and it's, tragically something happens to her in the movie, but he said she wasn't sure that his method, you know, was, in fact, she knew it was unorthodox. But he said, "Look, people are opening up to me. They're sharing their dreams and fantasies." And boy, I wrote that down. I said, you know, it is, you know, we learn when somebody comes in. We have a routine that we go through and talk about. But it's something that we used to incorporate and have them sit down and talk about. What are your hopes and dreams? And sometimes, Mark, you know, we talk about this on the Breakfast Club. We talk about it, and we tell people to write it down. But I think it's more important than I really was talking about before. And it's not so much sitting down and tell me all about it, but in your mind, you know, you've got to sit down and really think about that. What are your desires, your dreams, and your fantasies? And I think we have to think about that in order to move forward. This is a guy that if he didn't have those dreams, and if he didn't have them, he wasn't going to be able to help those people. And his dream was to help and to connect with these people, to entertain them, to make them feel better about themselves. And he changed a number of patients from being miserable to being thankful they were alive. And if we teach the people and stress that one of the first things they must do is start thinking about what their dreams and fantasies are, and, you know, is it this particular job or industry or this particular opportunity that's going to help them get there? And he had troubles. He was actually and I guess the word was mental patient. He was having challenges in life as the movie starts, and he was in a ward and meeting in groups with other people who were struggling in an institution. And this is what he said. Eventually, when he went to med school, and he was one of the top 2 people in his class. He was very, very smart. And he said to the girl, look, by helping others, I forgot about my own problems. I forgot about them. And he said, and the feeling is incredible. That's why I feel. That's why I'm so happy every day. I have stopped focusing on me. And now I'm focusing on everybody else. And I'm really making them happy, which is making me happy. And so he developed the first, this is what he called it, the first free, fun hospital. Still exists today, I believe, in West Virginia. The first free, fun hospital. So my point today, Mark, is about that connection. And that movie made me think of how many people here are struggling, and maybe one of the reasons is they've forgotten about their fantasy, their dreams, their hopes. Maybe that's it. But maybe also those who do not attend the Breakfast Club, maybe their problem is they have their fun, their fantasies, and their dreams. Maybe they're in place, but they're struggling because they don't know what to do with them. They don't know how to go get them. And those two have to go hand in hand. And he said to the girl, again, a lot of the dialogue was to her and explaining his own feelings, and he said there's more to life than what Dean Walker puts out there. The dean of the school couldn't stand him, tried to get rid of him so many times because he was traditional doctor, don't make people laugh, don't be silly, we study and diagnose and we help people through medicine. And what they finally found out at the end of it, he was, as unorthodox as he was full of medicine himself. And the conclusion was it was all about how he could help people today. What is it? How could he help those people? And I see so many people, Mark, struggling with trying to get that next sale and that next transaction, and it's about putting that money in their pocket. We all know we need to make money here. That's not what I'm saying. But I think that we're forgetting about how to get there. I know you teach it all the time about helping others. I think you almost end every day with that theme of helping others. What are you passionate about that excites you? That's a question you should write down. What are you passionate about? It may not be that you're passionate about network marketing. That might not be it. I mean, I suggest that most people are not passionate about it. But they have something else in place, and that the networking can bring that to them. They have some other dream and excitement in place, and by doing what they're doing here, that can bring it to them. And that's what's being sold to them. But the problem that I see is that they're not being taught how to get there. Oh yeah, you could teach about social media and connecting with people like that. In other words, making the connection, but the true connection with them isn't happening. We can talk about leads and websites, but that's not the connecting point. We do need to have something out there that you are happy and you are comfortable with, that when you put it in front of somebody that you feel good about it, so that they get it. They say, I see a little bit about what you're doing. Now, can you explain more to me? That is the point where the connection starts, for them to believe in you, in what you're saying.
Well, Joe, let me say this. Let me share a couple things on that theme, because I've said it on the Breakfast Club before that I've always taught my kids through their lifetime that like you say, we all need money and we want money and everything, and we all have challenges. Life delivers you challenges all the time, and I've always told my kids the best way to get your challenge solved is to solve somebody else's. And two things. For example, if you do something for a loving as opposed to doing it for a living, the money will hunt you down. It's been proven. If you do something for a loving instead of for a living, the money will hunt you down. And the last thing I'll say to that is simply this. If you be a go-giver as opposed to being a go-getter, you'll make a fortune. If you be a go-giver instead of being a go-getter, you'll make a fortune. And that's how you connect with people, because today, in today's business world and society as well, people are looking for people that care about them first before you even talk money. They want to know, do you really care, or are you just trying to get my money?
Mm-hmm.
Now, we have the greatest product in the world as far as I'm concerned. We have the greatest company, the greatest product and everything. But, you know, the thing is, are we the right people? Are we connecting the right way with the right people? Are we connecting with the right people? Are we the right people within ourselves? You know, the only thing Shakespeare ever said that made me think was, to thine own self be true. And you have to be that way, not only, and Joe, the way you put it is simply like this. You have to, you know, you have to be fair and treat the people and consider the people around you, you know, the customer, and then you have to be that way with the people around you. So all that ties in, and when you can grasp that and learn that and practice that, your business will take off. That's what I believe.
Well, I believe you're right, Mark. The last thing that I wrote down about this movie, it says the changes I see in people. He was discussing the changes from what he was doing. People that hadn't eaten for a week. One particular woman, they couldn't get her to eat, and he filled a big outdoor pool, you know, like a swimming pool that you assemble out in your backyard, you know, whatever they call that, a freestand pool or whatever, and he filled it all up with spaghetti. And they brought her out in a wheelchair, and he was in there, in the spaghetti in there, and then they lifted her and put her in there, and the smile, the fun that she had. It was a very, very old lady, but you know, she was not sick. She just probably was giving up in life because the fun around her had left. And but anyway, they're the kind of things, the silly things that he did to touch her human spirit.
Maybe that's why I love spaghetti. That's my favorite food.
Well, and what he told her was, I see the changes in people. I see it happening. I'm not giving them medicine. And anyway, I suggest that you watch that movie and somehow go find it, and maybe that there's a feeling inside of you. Unfortunately, over the weekend, Mark, I got I think it was Friday, I said to you, look, if my phone call comes in, I have to go. And I did. I left the call here and turned the volume down because a friend of mine's son had texted me or emailed me and told me that he needed to talk to me about his mom, who I knew was very sick. And unfortunately, I did. And this is one of my dearest friends in life. All throughout my life, I've known her for a long, long time. And when I left New Jersey a few years ago, she was getting better. And in fact, for the next year, she got better. And I saw that email and I thought, oh, I know what's coming. And unfortunately, I haven't talked to her for a year, probably since last July. And unfortunately, she passed away. And that's why I jumped off the call, because Adam had called me. He's a doctor in New Jersey, which you and I will meet when we get there, Mark, next month. So, you know, it made me think how precious the time is and, you know, what we need to accomplish here. And one of the things that I really want to accomplish before it's too late for any of us is to help people get to where they want to go here, to really learn how to speak and connect with people before it's too late. I know some people have gone to the class and come to the Breakfast Club and then they go away. And maybe it's because we're sometimes say the same thing. Maybe it's because they think they know it and somebody has a better way all of a sudden with, you know, whatever method they're using to find people. Just remember, though, the foundation is about the connecting. It's about your communication. What do you really say when someone asks you a question? What is the purpose of your phone call or your connecting? Are you there to tell them everything you need to know, they need to know in order for them to register with you? Or is your goal to move them and point upward? Art Williams wrote a book about pointing upward. You have to point to the person above you or someone that is above you. I don't mean in a line, but someone that person, that prospect says, oh, I can point people to them as well. Yeah, you don't have to know it all. But what is your purpose on that phone call? Are we really learning, or do we go to this class and teachings and say, I got it, and then disappear after a couple of months, and then go back to your old ways? I wonder how many people that have been through the class this year could truly open up their microphone right now and answer, tell me what you say when someone says, where'd you get my name? Or tell me what you say when someone says, look, I think this is great, but can I really make any money? Are you making money? How do you answer that and have that person feel comfortable? I saw over the weekend as well, I was fortunate enough for a friend in the industry here in this company to send me something from a group that is teaching some dialogue, and I can't even share it with you, like physically. The language that was in some of these responses. I was blown away that what this document out there is teaching people. It was mind-boggling to me that someone would teach such a thing, and it's old school stuff. And I don't like to be critical of that stuff. I wish everybody knew how to answer these questions effectively, without feeling foolish or feeling like they were trying to say something to somebody to make them join. That's not what we're trying to do. The purpose of that call should be to find out, are we really a match? Do we match each other? Are you a good fit for us? And I read this, Mark. I'll share it with you later. I can't share it to the group. It wouldn't be fair to the people that are putting this out. But I think you're going to, fall over when you see this. And it's out there now. And I think people see that and they start to say, yeah, this sounds like we should be saying this. And I suspect that 99% of the people, maybe 100 that have been through the class would feel the same way and think, how in the world could they still be teaching that? It doesn't work. We know that. And it's a whole new dialogue from a certain group. Now they're creating something new. What is being taught here is the same thing for 20 years. It works. Because you're being honest, you're trying to help that person and determine whether or not we are a good fit for them as well. Not always are you good for us, but are we good for you? Because getting you to sign on the dotted line just to get you on there and hope that you're going to go buy some gold and have transactions is not what the purpose should be. That's not it. Because you know what's going to happen. You're going to work with that person and chase them around, and within a month or two, you'll be saying, well, they're not here now either. So we're at the bottom of the hour, Mark, so I wanted to make sure that people maybe take a good look today at your connecting points. What are you doing to connect? Are you really prepared to connect to people? And that's one of the key things, is that preparation. As Einstein has said, it's not the learning of facts. That's not what that's about. It's the ability of the mind to think. And as we say this all the time with Robert Kiyosaki, it's not cash that makes you rich. It's not the money. It's your education. It's learning how to connect with people. It's being a good business manager, managing your business properly. So take the time to find out today whether or not your passion is alive and what you're doing with it. And if it's this company, a company that you need to get to where you want to go, use it. Use it to go help you get there and learn what you have to learn. Educate yourself so that you're not stumbling when you talk to people. You've got holidays coming up. Are you going to sit there at Easter time and again having problems with people asking you, what are you doing and how's that company going, and you want to spend a half hour telling them how important it is to own gold? If that's what you want to get stuck with, I suggest you rethink that. So tomorrow night, Mark, we have, and I will make sure we don't have any problems with the getting onto the call. I'll send a notice out for sure. Last week I had a problem sending the notice twice because of a picture I put on there, unfortunately, of Jim Rohn, and somehow my system at Earthlink blocked me from sending the message. Although it showed it was sent, I never got the messages. So we had a little mix-up on Tuesday and Thursday night with my message going out, and I apologize. That won't happen again. That message, we've already tested it. The pictures come off, and something in the background of that picture or the URL has prevented it from leaving my system. Earthlink blocked it, so it's not on there anymore. So you should be able to enter by going to thebreakfastclub.ws anyway at 9 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night. And when I say director's class, it was originally an advanced portion of the class. What we've decided to do was to continued education where we can really communicate, you know, what you should be doing, and, you know, just deal with any problems that may come up. So we'll have some people on here as well that not normally on here, and we'll be discussing those things. So I suggest you open up your Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, get on at 5 up, go to thebreakfastclub.ws. We'll have that set up. In fact, I will set that up as soon as we get off the call now, so you can actually go register, and we'll be good to go. So with that, my friend, first of all, let me just thank everybody for being here, and hopefully you get to start your week with maybe a new vision, maybe a new set of rules or thinking for yourself, and start thinking about, you know, how am I getting there by helping others. So over to you, buddy.
Okay, thanks, Joe. You know, in our presentation, it talks about money. I just want to make a comment on that for a minute before we close out. And in the presentation, we talk about that certain things don't come with an instruction manual, and money is one of them, probably the biggest one. You know, cars come, vacuum cleaners come, TVs come, computers come with instruction manuals and things like that, but money doesn't. And I've always said this, that money, now first of all, think of what people want. People want financial freedom. That takes money. They want time freedom. That takes money. And why do I say that? Because I've always said that money is a tool, and money buys you the time freedom, to do the things you want to do, financial freedom. And that's what money is. It's a tool, and we just need more tools. Now, the key to that is based on what you've said this morning, is to learn how to be a connector in the proper way through communication. Think of what people need and the fact that you can help provide that based on your knowledge and what you have to offer. And if you bring all that together, it makes for a happy community. It makes for a happy city, state, country, and world. I guarantee you, if people in this world had the time freedom that they wanted, the money freedom, and they didn't have the challenges that they have, we wouldn't have all these wars. We wouldn't have all these murders and killings and beheadings and all this stuff, all these crazy ideologies. And it's just connecting. That's what it's about. So, like you said, Joe, and I'm going to do that myself again today. I'm going to reflect on what you said this morning, because I want to make sure that I'm being what we say. And like I said, if you want to see change in anything, the change first has to be in you. So I'll take another look at me and say, am I doing enough? And I don't think you can ever do enough, because there's so many people that are in need. But my point is that you want to get your needs met, meet somebody else's, help them get their needs met, and yours will be met 100 times that. So with that being said, peace and blessings to everyone. Let's go out, make it a great day. Let's connect with somebody, and let's show them and share with them what we can do. And let's share that presentation with them, because a lot of people, they don't necessarily know what their challenges are. All they know is that I got problems. That's all, because they're focused on the problems that they have instead of the solutions. Well, we have the solutions, so let's share the solutions to their problems, bring them both together, and let's bring some joy to somebody else's life. So with that being said, this is your host. This is your co-host, Mark Stevens, with our host, Joe Shoup, saying,
hey, Mark, let me say one thing. Sorry about that. I just published that, and if everyone would check, if you would go see that tomorrow night is published and ready to register at 9 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. It should be there now. So if you want to go check that, people, it's there. You should be able to see that right now. And I suspect that it's there. Sorry to interrupt you, Mark. I wanted to make sure everybody knew that it is tomorrow night at 9 p.m. once again, and it is now published so that they can go register.
Not a problem. So with that being said, peace and blessings, everyone. Go out, make it a great day. Connect with somebody. Grow your business. Grow yourself. And we look forward to see you back here tomorrow morning on the Breakfast Club. Make it a great day, everybody.